Habibi. That's what that's what we're reviewing today. We're reviewing Habibi by Craig Thompson. And let me tell you right now, one thing. I really enjoyed this. Now, it did take me a while to finish it because I don't know why. I just like taking my time with things. But like, really enjoyed my time with it. It's just like let's just go into what it's about. It's about romance in the Middle East between two really lovable and hardworking, not hardworking, but kind of like connectable characters. I really enjoyed them because they were very compelling, and I wanted to see them happy. I wanted to see them. Let's just go into it. So the main characters are Dodala and Zam. And Dodala at a very young age was sold off into marriage so her parents could like have money. And then she was kidnapped, her husband was killed, she was taken in, sold as a slave. And there she meets a baby, and that is Zam. So she escapes with Zam, and then eventually and raises Zam and teaches Zam all these things that she knows about like religious stories, like the Book of Job or Abraham or something like that, or like Noah, Noah's flood. And I'm sure like you can kind of put together like what those stories mean to the characters, or kind of what the characters are going through, or if they're just there just to be there. But it was really enjoyable. I mean, you can kind of make an analysis video on this, but personally, my favorite aspect of this was the kind of like of how it made a kind of statement about how rich people and poor people are both greedy assholes. Like, they're both the same. They're both cut from the same cloth. They're both assholes who are very greedy. And you can kind of see this with like the fisherman dude who I imagine was like a fisherman, but can sense like the lake or like the fishing grounds, which used to be fishing grounds, are like covered in trash. He just mainly spends his time collecting trash and then like adding them to his collection. And like he originally took on like Dodala and Zam because Dodala was sick. And then from there, like he kept like seeing people in the streets and being like, "Come live with me. I mean, I got water because I made this distillery or whatever." And then like you can see like these poor people that took him in took advantage of him, and it's like they're fucking assholes. Like, I understand, like that's the world. You gotta survive. But it's like you could tell that they were fucking assholes. I took advantage of him. There was also like the old starving dude. And like there was a part where like the fisherman dude gave the old starving dude a piece of bread, which he originally was planning to give to Dodala and Zam, I think. And then like once he turns around and like is far off, a bunch of kids walk over, beat the shit out of the starving old man who clearly can't fight back because he's so like malnourished that he's like super weak. And they beat the shit out of this dude, take his bread, and leave. It's just like, it doesn't portray any of like the poor as good people. And I really fucking love that because I've watched so much stuff where it has this kind of like rich people bad, poor people good, poor people oppressed because of rich. And it's like, well, I mean, in some ways you could say that the rich the poor are responsible, they're responsible for being poor. It's their fault for being poor in a way. But it's also not. I mean, there's nothing like once you're poor, it's like super fucking difficult to get out of that unless you're willing to chop off someone's head off. But I mean, I just like that. It's kind of like a nice message that I don't always see, and especially like, I feel like now in today's society we kind of have that like rich people bad, poor people good mentality, and I just find that ridiculous. Poor people are no better than the rich people, and the rich people are no better than the poor people. Personally, I don't care who's poor, who's rich. I mean, everybody's a fucking asshole. But, I mean, I really did enjoy that. And it's like, again, watching Dodola just go through all these things. Like, she's a very strong woman. And, like, I like strong women characters. Sometimes strong woman characters aren't that great because they're usually like, I'm a woman and I'm a tough woman. Women. And it's just like, yeah, I've seen that before. Can you do it in a better way? I mean, I think Captain Marvel is a good recent example. Yeah, strong women! Or I don't fucking know. Honestly, I don't care about that. But she's a really interesting character. Very compelling. I mean, that's all I have to say. But, like, seriously, watching her, like, use her body to get food, and it's like, and the way that she goes about it is in this kind of like, I have to do this. This is my only way of surviving and feeding the child that I am raising. And, I mean, you can't help but love that. And then watching, like, Zom go through this kind of, like, growing up, and then eventually, like, finding his lust, like, realizing that he's like, because he's a growing boy, and eventually like he starts to like have these sexual kind of feelings towards Dodola as he grows up, and like eventually like that leads him to discovering what Dodola is doing to get them food, and that really like messes with him because Dodola has kind of like been a mother, or like not kind of like Dodola's been a mother. And because of all this, I mean, it just destroys him, I guess. And he later runs off, or I don't know. I think Dodola gets kidnapped, and then he later tries and finds her. Then he goes and like, and then he chops off his penis. Because he sees it as like a symbol of his impurity or something like that. I mean, it's just like, I honestly just say read it yourself because it was very entertaining and was very compassionate. Maybe you'll finish it faster than me. It's also like, I've seen some criticism for like how it portrays like harems as like these over-sexual kind of stuff. But I mean, not every harem, I mean, who fucking cares? It was a fun read. If I had to, like, I keep flipping back and forth between a 7 and an 8, so I'm going to give this a strong 7 to a light 8. That's all I have for today's video. Not today's video, whatever I say, who fucking cares? The thing is, do whatever if you want to like and subscribe, go ahead. I just don't give two shits. If you want to read Habibi, there's an Amazon link down in the description. This is not a paid endorsement. I just want to put the Amazon link down in the description so you could buy it easily. I think it's like $40, but I got it for $20 because I got it on Christmas on sale. Anyways, I'm not good with outros. Go fuck yourself.